We will get a microphone, and we have it. Welcome back, everyone. Special welcome to our virtual delegates. We know that you are here and waiting. We have people coming back in from coffee. It's a line situation. It's a caffeine situation. So we appreciate your patience. But we do want to get started and stay on time as much as we can. And this is something that you do not want to miss as someone who is always entertaining and who is going to keep the cameramen very busy. So I hope you guys are on your game for this. I would like to welcome from MediaHQ, Jack Murray, who is a returning sponsor, a great supporter, a great human. Please give him your attention. Jack, please join us on the stage. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Janet. Hello, everybody. Does that sound okay? Cool. How's everybody doing? Kind of hear myself. Whee! Good. John Kroll sent me a challenge. He was saying last night to spook the shit out of me. First curse, I'm 30 seconds in. I don't know, mate. I don't know. 20 minutes. I'm not sure you'll be able to do 20 minutes. Will we keep you to 20 minutes? So I'm going to try and... Yeah, that's my Australian accent. So I suppose, first of all, anytime I've spoken at FEBIP or AMIC, it's very important for me to start to check in with why I'm here and why we're all here, and the sense of community that's in the room. And John Anders is the reason I'm here. And a few years ago, we had a call one day, and he said, there's a couple of really good organizations in the world. He said, you should come. And I was remarking to Richard or Chris last night when we were at drinks that kind of rocked in Vienna a couple of years ago and didn't know anybody. And so many genuine friends and people in the room. My kids call them my conference friends. You're going to meet some of your conference friends. And I suppose just to start with a story, and the other evening at the drinks, was milling around, meeting new people and old people. And Anna Ada, who I spoke with at the conference in Miami, who we didn't get on, we didn't agree on anything. But we made a great connection and respected each other's positions and fought like cats and dogs on stage. And she introduced me to her friend Christina, who's coming up here in about an hour. And she said, "This is my friend Christina. She's from Germany. We're speaking on Thursday." And Christina looked at me and she said, "You're Irish?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Irish." And she said, she said, "When I was a small girl, my dad was in business with an Irishman. And I spent loads of my childhood summers in a small town in the southwest of Ireland. And the man my dad was in business with had 5 daughters, and I was really good friends with them." And I said, "What happened?" She said, in that way, she said, "we lost touch and we lost contact, and I don't really know where they are, and I'd love to reconnect with them." And I said, "Do you know anything about them?" She said, "I know one of them married a journalist." So immediately my antenna went up, and I said, "What's his name? What was his name?" And she said, I can't remember. And I said, I just looked her deep in the eyes. And I said, "Was his name Ian Nocter?" And she almost collapsed on the spot. She said, "Yeah, that's him." She said, "How did you know?" And I said, "Well, I know every journalist in Ireland. There's 6,000 of them. And I know that town. And I know he's from that town." And I said, "I know him. Would you like me to..." So one of the sisters was married to Ian. I said, "Would you like me to send him a message tonight and reconnect you with your friend?" She said, "Would you?" I said, "Oh, yeah, no problem." So I went back up to the hotel room, and I thought about typing out a WhatsApp message. And I thought, "Oh, no, I can't do that. That's going to take forever. It'll be like a little book." So I left a voice memo from him, and I took notes when I was talking to Christina, and I said, so she'd love to meet your wife, Jenny, and she'd love to meet Jenny's sister, Tara. And he sent me back a message the next day saying, "That's unbelievable." And he sent me on Tara's number. And Christina and Tara are now in contact thanks to AMIC and thanks to the community. So I just wanted to share that story as part of kind of what goes on here. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so what am I going to talk about other than all of that? I burned through 5 of my minutes telling a story. Under pressure already. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what is media intelligence. And I work in the business of media contacts and media contacts databases and press release distribution. And our technology is very much an outlier in this room. And I want to give you what our take on media intelligence is. And I'm kind of hoping that I'll kind of give you a different prism in which to look at it through, and why you should change your outlook. And then, what's not to like about pictures about dogs? There'll be no frameworks here. An 18-point framework on why dogs should not eat chocolate. No, I won't do that. And some lessons learned at the end. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm going to talk about storytelling. Who loves the movie Jaws? Spent 20 years of my life teaching people about storytelling, and one of the go-to examples in storytelling is always the epic tale of Jaws. The seaside village of Amity in New England, where a woman goes for a swim and gets killed and eaten alive by a shark. And the chief of police wants to shut the beach down, and the newly elected mayor thinks it'll be bad for tourism. And then there's a ship's captain and a scientist who go and help the chief of police, and they're going to capture the shark. And I was kind of wondering about this from a media intelligence point of view. Like if media intelligence was going to analyze Jaws, would there be a sentiment report about all the people dead on the beach? At what point would they get an analysis report in? And at what point in the process would they come into it? And can anyone tell me who this is? Oscar Wilde. Always good to pick Irish politicians used to the cliched Seamus Heaney poem, but Oscar Wilde, I think, might be the father of media intelligence, because he once had this quote: "There's only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about." Yeah, and that whole self-obsession of brands, that's enough about me. What about you? What do you think of me? So what is media intelligence? And in lots of places, it's a destination. And I don't think it should be a destination. And lots of things that are broken, it's about pointing to the final report and the analysis. And in lots of our work, we talk to people about what their workflows are. And some people cracked some jokes yesterday about do you really read the reports? How many of the reports do you read? I say to people, what do you do with the reports and the silence? I'm a big cyclist, and this is, so if you're into road cycling, one of the things you obsess about is the profile of the road. How many meters climbing are in it? And this is one of the most famous cycling stages in the world. And imagine this as media intelligence. And the bit at the end is a climb called Alpe d'Huez. It's on my bucket list. I haven't climbed it yet. You can see how severe it is. And I kind of sometimes think that if this was the journey of the cycle ride up Alpe d'Huez, in some of the media intelligence, it would come in here. It wouldn't come in at the start. It wouldn't come in at all the warm-up bits. It would come in at the evaluation piece at the end and would miss an awful lot of the journey along the way. And when you build technology and you're looking at ways to analyze this, we sometimes obsess about the roadmap, but the user's journey is completely different in lots of cases than the roadmap. It's completely different. Now, I did say there would be no frameworks, but I do want to give you, I like a good formula, so I want to give you a formula. So I want to give you the formula for media intelligence. And the first thing about media intelligence is it starts with a spark. And a spark is an idea. Somebody wants to start a new business. It's a change. There could be new legislation. It's a charge. Somebody's brought to court. And then, like the great Irish parish priest, it's those great words: hatches, matches, and dispatches. Startups, mergers, and acquisitions. So that's the start of it. It's a spark. The second thing then is that there's action. Anybody see this movie? Man on Wire, Philippe Petit, a crazy Frenchman who decided one day, at 16 years of age, he saw they were building the Twin Towers. And he decided to take action. He said, one day I'm going to go across the Twin Towers on a tightrope. It didn't really bother him that it was highly illegal. He decided he was going to take action. So if first there's a spark in media intelligence, and then there's action. And action can be to do nothing. Do nothing can be an action. And you probably have clients who do nothing. And then the other action is the Gordon Ramsay kitchen nightmare. Shut it down! Shut it down. I grew up in a house that there was lots of conflict in. And I became really good at the shut it down bit of ringing journalists. When I worked in PR, really, like someone would write something horrible about you. Who wants to ring them? Can I do that, please? I used to love that bit. Why did you do that to me? And finally then, there's a reaction. And the reaction is the traditional media coverage, the shitstorm on social media, dealing with your stakeholders. So the formula is very simple. It's a spark plus action plus reaction equals media intelligence. And you need all three for it to work really well. You need a spark, you need the client to act, and then the world responds when you do. So why should you change your outlook? And what I want to impress upon you is, don't come in at the bottom of Alpe d'Huez. Arrive a little bit earlier in the cycle. Love Columbo, absolutely love Columbo. People here, anyone here used to watch Columbo? Oh yeah, that great line, there's just one more thing. And that thing he used to do, he'd come in with a furrowed brow on the case. That's just one more thing. No one gives a crap about your technology. Build platforms, myself and John Crawl were talking about this in the last couple of days. No one cares. No one cares. People just care about their own thing. Just obsess about their own problems, their own issues. And they don't really care about the thing that you're building. And part of this process is to completely lean in to what they're building. And stop talking about yourself and start talking about the people that you want to engage with. And I've shown this before, but I want to bring you back through it. And this is God help us, it's a framework that we've developed. And it's called the Story Circle. And it just shows you the journey that people go on. People build an audience. They hone and shape a message. They send that message out into the world. And then analysis, mentions comes in. And then they calibrate. And they do it again. And they go through this cycle. And it's not linear. Because, if it was linear, the world would be perfect. And you think people are going to come and they're going to build the audience first. But people generally, a spark happens, they're thrown in the mess, they have to react. Then they go back and think, I'm going to tweak my audience. But this is the journey that people go on. So the people that are availing of media intelligence or availing of your services, they're on this full journey. And in MediaHQ and what we do, we help them build an audience, we help them hone a message, we help it send it. And then the media intelligence kicks in lots of cases. And that's the full cycle journey from the beginning right up to the top of the Alpe d'Huez. And I'm just going to kind of relay how do we apply this in our own business. So what I do in MediaHQ, it's a media contacts database, it's a press release distribution tool, and it's a way to integrate media contacts and media intelligence. And we've spent a lot of time this year looking at the journey through the technology and looking at the fact that people don't care, people are on a journey, and how do you speak about the technology to people in a way that you can get them to care about it a little bit more. And we map this mess out, right? This absolute, that's not a mess, there's progress and there's stuff in it, but these are all the jobs that people do. And these are all, like, you can talk to people about your great solution and talk to the 50 things that it can do, but you've got to really remember, they don't care. They absolutely don't care. They only care about their own stuff. So when we did an analysis of the 8 jobs that people do to get their story ready and build their audience, we decided that there were only 4 things. Search for your audience, build your contact lists, send your press releases, and generate reports on how you send them out there. And simplifying how you talk to people about technology platforms and really listening to them, but also listening to the full journey. And we completely redesigned all of the ways in which we talk about the product and how we engage with people and having a conversation about their problems through those 4 key jobs. So finally, I want to just give you an example of somebody doing the full Alpe d'Huez from beginning to end, because this talk is called From First Spark to Final Report, and why dogs shouldn't eat chocolate. And this is my dog, look at him. His name is Badger Lopez. Apparently, I got a WhatsApp there about 10 minutes ago. He did a poo on the kitchen floor this morning, in case anyone's interested. It's the big news in my house. My 14-year-old texted, Badger did a big poo overnight. But he is the vainest dog in the world. And I love dogs. And the global dogs charity, Dogs Trust, are clients of MediaHQ for the last 15 years. And it's a story about why it's bad to give chocolate to dogs. And I love Dogs Trust because they tick so many of the boxes of a brand that understands storytelling, who has a limited budget, who have a passion for what they do, and who are really tuned in. They haven't got huge budgets. They're very clever people who know how to tell a story. Their mission: when a dog needs a home, we find them a loving family. When an owner needs a helping hand or a paw, or they just can't cope, we're ready to step in. And in everything they do and every story they tell, they communicate that message. We built our first technology platform in 2009. A month later, they joined the platform and started sharing stories. They share highly emotional content about animals, and they know that their audience are people like me, people like you, people who love dogs. And just to have a look at some of their highlights from the last year, they shared 51 stories, and individual stuff that was sent out was over 5,000. And just a kind of an overview, 98% delivers, 40% opens. And I wrote a book a couple of years ago called The Magic Slice, which in the Magic Slice there are two circles. For one is what you want to talk about, and the other is what people are interested in. And Dogs Trust are absolutely amazing at tuning into their Magic Slice. They pick newsworthy themes, things that are happening in the news, and they insert the dog angle into them. So this story about chocolate was obviously released at Easter, when everybody was the house was full of chocolate, it was everywhere. And ironically, when I was preparing this, I like a good bar of chocolate on a Friday. I don't drink. I'm so crazy, my crack cocaine is nice green tea and a nice bar of chocolate on a Friday night. And my dog would eat anything, and I had some really nice dark chocolate, and the day I finished the presentation, he ate a square of chocolate, would you believe? As if just to punish me. And I said, well, what am I going to do? She said, look, he had a rubber ball yesterday. I think he'll be fine. And he survived it. He's the Rasputin of chocolate-eating dogs, my dog. So just to go through it, okay? So the story headline was to warn people of the dangers of eating chocolate at Easter. Really fits their Magic Slice. It's on brand, it's on mission, a very topical media time, and a very specific dog angle. And their objective was to secure coverage, print, online, and in broadcast. And on the point of the story circle on how they built their audience, they built 7 individual media lists in 3 different categories, and they chose 260 journalists to connect with. And just to kind of show you, just top line, they had a specialist list with 121 people on it, a national list with 88, and a regional list with 52. The people who use our technology best, they don't, it's not like a hose that they're spraying around at everything. They know exactly who they need to talk to, and they find the opportunities from that point of view. We have an AI tool for writing the stories. It gives you 5 simple prompts. It writes a perfect press release. Dogs Trust did not use the AI to write the story, but they used it to generate the headline. Can anyone guess which headline they picked? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Not all together now. 4. They picked the second one. Dogs Trust raises alarm of Easter dangers as 1 in 5 dogs have eaten chocolate. They got a good result, 99% delivery rate, 32% opens, 0.7% of bounce, and then they got good coverage. They got picked up in 4 nationals, 22 onlines, and a kind of a total reach of about 4 million people. Lots of different media outlets picked it up. Interestingly, they shared absolutely killer stories or killer images that really lifted the whole thing. So the pictures were fantastic, and they lifted it, lifted the whole thing. And this kind of just shows you how that works. And I just want to show you the other thing that they did just before I finish. This is it. So you can see here, is there a button here? Yeah. So that's the MediaHQ logo there. So one of the things that we have developed to help us collaborate with media intelligence companies is we now have a plugin for Microsoft Edge and for Chrome. And anytime anyone gets a coverage report, all they need to do is click on the extension and it will find the journalist's contacts. So this is a brilliant tool for initial research, but also when you get a contacts report and you need to make a clarification, you need to make a correction, or you just need to say thanks to somebody for a piece of coverage. And it does that brilliant thing of finishing the journey for the person or helping them at the start of the journey. And this is just an example of a piece of coverage. In this campaign, you can see the journalist details. You click on the plugin, it pulls it out. It shows you what list that person is on, what audience they're part of, what stories you've already shared with them. And it's a really, really good way in which to close that circle and give people a connection. So finally then, what lessons did we learn? I suppose the first one is build new technology. And this plugin that we built to connect media intelligence and media contacts has been very important. And it means that very simply, we can integrate it directly into your platform, or it's available in the app stores as well, so it doesn't need it. It's very easy to do. Technology adoption is difficult. We have an AI tool. Lots of people use it to write headlines. People are still skeptical of using it, and we would have changed some of the workflows. So now we notice by doing deep analytics on the platform, lots of people come and paste in the pre-written story. So a little pop-up comes up now and says, "Hi, hey, I noticed you've pasted this in from somewhere else. Would you like to use the AI to make it better?" And that was just looking to the point that Johnny made, was just looking at the data and seeing what people were actually doing and leaning into it from that point of view. When you go to IKEA and they give you the blue bag to open your wallet? So it's this notion of listen to the data, but lean into the user's journey and get them to try something. So using AI for the headline is a really nice way to get them to go on that journey and lean into users' energy to help them succeed. Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much, Jack. As promised, a great storyteller with a great story to tell. Thank you for sharing with us when you do. We appreciate you.